Imagine sitting back, taking in a stunning sunset, feeling the warmth, and breathing without a care. But what happens if Earth wasn't your view? What if, by some twist of fate, you were floating alone somewhere else in space, on one of our neighboring planets? Would you freeze solid, burst apart, or maybe get flattened like a pancake? Let's dive into a grim yet captivating topic. We are heading into how every planet in our solar system would destroy you in its own way. Heads up, it's going to get unpleasant. Earth is where we live, so let's begin there. How do people die on our planet? There are plenty of ways, from aging and sickness to accidents. But here adds some good news. Earth is the only planet in our solar system that works to keep you alive. It gives us breathable air water in liquid form, steady temperatures, and a shielded atmosphere. Now, everything else we're about to check out? Yeah, not. Let's head to Mercury first. This sun-scorched chunk of rock has any atmosphere, just a thin exosphere. So, what's waiting for you there? Walk onto Mercury's surface when the sun is up, and you'd get roasted on the spot. The heat climbs past 430 degrees Celsius, which is over 800 Fahrenheit. That's way hotter than a self-cleaning oven. Your body fluids would boil away almost while your skin burns and your insides turn to ash. But it gets even worse. If you end up on the side facing away from the sun, or if the planet spins while you are there, the temperature crashes to minus 180 degrees Celsius, which is about minus 290 Fahrenheit. Your body would freeze rock solid, and even a small movement could make you shatter like broken glass. No matter where you stand, it's a rough and very quick end. Next, we reach Venus, often called Earth's twin, though you could consider it a twin if Earth were a boiling, acidic nightmare. Venus might just be the deadliest place in our solar system. Breathing is out of the question here. Venus's atmosphere consists almost of carbon dioxide, and it is about 90 times denser than Earth's. That would feel like sitting under the weight of an ocean a mile deep. The sheer pressure would crush you right away, snuffing out all life, smashing your body, and leaving you as a gruesome, flattened form. If the crushing pressure doesn't do you in, the heat will finish the job. With surface temperatures averaging 462 degrees Celsius, or 864 degrees Fahrenheit, Venus is hotter than Mercury despite being further away from the sun. This extreme heat, paired with thick clouds full of sulfuric acid, creates a nightmare scenario. You'd end up squashed, burned, and melted by acid rain all at once. It's pure misery on every front. Now let's talk about Mars. The red planet has long been a favorite for sci-fi adventures, but don't be too quick to think it's less dangerous than Venus. Mars might look less intimidating at first glance, but it's far from welcoming. It's a giant, lifeless graveyard. The first challenge is the atmosphere. It is there, with less than 1% of Earth's density, and it's made up almost of carbon dioxide. If you tried to breathe, no oxygen would reach your lungs. The low pressure would make your body lose pressure, quickly causing your blood to boil inside your veins. You would pass out in about 15 seconds, but the harm would already happen. Now let's talk about the cold. Mars stays frigid, with typical temperatures sitting near minus 63 degrees Celsius or minus 81 Fahrenheit. Nighttime gets even worse, with temperatures plunging low. You'd end up with severe frostbite before you even knew it. And don't overlook the dust storms spread across the planet. They can't toss you around like a rag doll, but they will choke you with sharp dust particles if you somehow make it past the cold. Suffocating boiling blood and freezing all sound like an unpleasant mix, don't they? Moving on, let's not forget the gas giants, places where the idea of solid ground doesn't exist. Surviving there would be a nightmare stacked on top of another. Take Jupiter, for example. It's the huge ruler of the solar system, but it's not somewhere you'd want to visit. You can't land on Jupiter since it has no solid surface. Instead, you'd start falling through layers of a thick atmosphere. At first, you'd face freezing cold temperatures, But that wouldn't even begin to be your main problem. The deeper you fall, the pressure would become unbearable. The pressure would be so intense it could crush you, reducing you to a smear of molecules long before you reached anything like a core. The mix of hydrogen and helium would compact so much under the heat and force that it would turn into something like liquid metal. You wouldn't just get squashed, your very atoms would be torn apart, leaving no trace of you behind. It wouldn't even feel like dying, it'd be total obliteration. Now onto Saturn, often called the crown jewel of our solar system because of its iconic rings. Its beauty might be stunning, but it's just as deadly as Jupiter, though in its own distinct way. Saturn, similar to Jupiter, lacks a solid surface. If the winds didn't tear you apart first, the crushing pressure and freezing cold would finish the job. In the upper atmosphere, the temperature sits at about -178 degrees Celsius or -288 degrees Fahrenheit. You would freeze into a solid block almost to be crushed and dissolved, like what happens on Jupiter. But here, the intense winds might add a kind of blender effect to the mix. This is Uranus, the sideways tilted ice giant. Its atmosphere contains hydrogen, helium, and methane. It's not a place fit for life. The bone-chilling cold would kill you first. Uranus, with cloud-top temperatures averaging -224 degrees Celsius, -371 Fahrenheit, ranks as the coldest planet in the solar system. Your body would freeze solid, cells bursting apart, leaving you like a fragile statue of ice. But it wouldn't end there. Falling further into layers of methane and water ice, the crushing pressure would get you next. Your frozen remains would collapse into a thin, flattened shape in no time. It's a quiet and icy way to go. Next, we reach Neptune, the most distant and stormy among the gas giants. Picture Uranus, but amped up with even more violent energy. Neptune has winds that are the fastest in the solar system, reaching speeds of up to 2,100 kilometers per hour or 1,300 miles per hour. These violent gusts would tear you apart long before you even made it to the planet's deeper layers, almost like being hit by a cosmic sandstorm. The temperature is just as unforgiving. Similar to Uranus, it sits around -214 degrees Celsius or -353 Fahrenheit. You'd freeze while being ripped apart by powerful winds. To top it off, the crushing weight of Neptune's thick atmosphere would press your broken body into a dense, icy mass. It is not the kind of place you'd want to visit. A chaotic, merciless destruction awaits anyone who dares. That wraps up our look at planets where survival is impossible, each with its own horrifying way to end life. It serves as a sharp reminder of how rare and delicate Earth is. We often overlook the fine-tuned conditions that make life flourish here. These harsh places are not just scary ideas for unlucky astronauts. They show us the amazing variety and force our universe holds. They also make you cherish something as basic as being able to breathe on Earth, don't they? What other wild what-ifs about the universe should we dive into? Drop your ideas in the comments. If you liked wandering through the cosmos with us, don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe to Mind Astray to explore more mind-bending space topics, and tap the notification bell to catch our next big adventure. Thanks for tuning in, and take care out there, on this little planet we call Earth.